US Air Force service, the B-52, and here now with the Vulcan below and above the 8 smoking engines of the Boeing B-52H Stratofortress. There is an image to behold.
And the one on the runway, a mere 50 years old, a few weeks ago.
Goes the buff, the big ugly fat fella to give the polite acronym, and now Sean, the Vulcan is set to display.
She is indeed, Dan. Thank you very much. I think we're just waiting for Martin Withers to receive his clearance. Martin Withers is the man in charge. Yes, that Martin Withers. As Squadron Leader Martin Withers, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross for flying Vulcan X-ray Mike 607 from Ascension Island down to the Falkland Islands and dropping 21 1,000-pound bombs in a stick across the runway there, hitting the runway with 2 bombs, which was all it needed. Here she is, rolling for her takeoff run. Listen, sound. Is spooling down there as they take the power off and they're coming back on again in a moment. Of course, Vulcan started life as a nuclear bomber, part of the triumvirate of Vulcan, Victor and Valiant. She was painted bright white then, and when she first flew in 1952, only 11 years after the Lancaster first flew, an extraordinary thing. When she first flew at the Farnborough Air Show, not very long after she first flew, she actually rolled all the way through. Bombers are not supposed to do that kind of thing. And here's Martin and Bill bringing her in slowly and gracefully. And there's the bomb bay opening. That's the weapons bay that carries 21 1,000-pound bombs. And she flew all the way from Ascension Island down to the Falkland Islands, which is a trip about as far as from here to Santiago. And of course she had to fly back again. It took the combined resources of all of the Royal Air Force's aerial refueling. And Martin and his crew, a crew of 5 of course in those days, 2 pilots, 2 navigators, a radar and a plotter, and the air electronics officer, the AEO. They planted their 2 bombs on the runway, one on the centre line and one on the edge, and that was enough to stop the use of the runway and prevent the Argentines basing their fast jets on the island, which probably would have had a significant effect on the war. It also gave them the idea that their homeland was also vulnerable should that become necessary. So it had an extraordinary effect on the Falklands War, did the Vulcan. Bombay still open, just about to close, closing now. So when she started her career as a nuclear bomber, she was bright white. went over to the Royal Navy for them to take over the nuclear deterrent. She became camouflaged as we see her today, and in fact this colour scheme, she has the Lincoln coat of arms on the fin, the Panther's head of #1 group on the nose. That represents all of the Vulcan squadrons in the 1970s. And a new marking today, she's called the Spirit of Great Britain. And that's because she encapsulates all the great British never say die bulldog spirit. So many people said this aircraft could not be put back into the air when she retired from Royal Air Force service in 1993. The great British people said yes she can, and they put their money where their mouth is, and they've spent nearly £8 million getting this aeroplane to this stage. Really that she is the people's aeroplane, and she's the most popular aeroplane in the country. It's difficult to describe quite why she has this effect on people. She's something like a piece of aviation artwork, really, and she affects people very deeply. But of course, throughout the whole project, the real elephant in the room has been money. They originally intended to have big business sponsorship, but her timing was just rubbish. She got airborne again right in the middle of this fearsome recession. And so she may not ever get big business sponsorship. She does get an awful lot of help from lots of different companies, well, and including the Civil Aviation Authority and Marshall Aerospace, but AD Holdings, Air BP, BAE Systems, EADS, Goodrich, Jeppesen, Judd Power, Kearsley Airways, Meggitt, Messier, Doughty, Rolls-Royce and Subaru, all contributing an awful lot. In their support for Vulcan. If you're in the business, then please do think of coming in to do some kind of sponsorship. As I said, she's been rechristened the Spirit of Great Britain, and that's really what this is all about. So our thanks to Martin Withers, the captain, Bill Perrins, the co-pilot, and Barry Macefield, the air electronics officer. What does he do? Well, this is sometimes known as the electric jet. Everything that's important on it runs on electrics, and the AEO is the man who manages all that. Plus, of course, he keeps the pilots in check. No navigators allowed on board for display purposes, so just the 3 of them on board. So we'll just see XH558. The one and only flying Vulcan in the world, the only Vulcan that will ever be flying as she comes into land. And we hope that she's going to be flying in 4 years' time. We particularly hope she's going to be flying in 2 years' time for the Olympics, for Her Majesty's Jubilee, when we hope she'll fly over Buckingham Palace. Now look at that. Martin keeping the nose up, aerodynamic braking, allowing the airflow to hit that huge delta wing. And the air brakes out sticking on top of the wing, still keeping the